you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Let's see. Thank you, Carol Claus, by the way. That was so very nice. And yeah, you are so generous. I really do appreciate it. And also, welcome back because I think you just renewed your membership, Zoomer Mom. And happy to have you here. And I'm going to save that and show Jen when she gets here. So, how are you guys? I'm excited for today. We've got Bendy coming on with us. We're going to watch some stuff about Kayla. I do want to pull up an article first. But before we get into any of that, I want to say hello to you guys and then show you. Actually, so I got really lucky. I got that book yesterday, and then today a subscriber with an Etsy shop sent me the cutest t-shirt. I'm going to link the Etsy shop, show you the t-shirt, and then pull Jen up and we're going to get started. But let me say hello to you guys really quick. Hey, Summer. Hey, Carol Claus. Hey, Nadie, Preschool Granny, Princess Megan Elsa. Hey, Melinda. Hey, Eddie. Hey, Blue Magoo. Alyssa, how are you guys? Hey, Deb, Punksy, Rody Gal. There's Bendy, Carol Clark. We have Carol Clark and Carol Claus. Deb, if I didn't say you, I don't know. They start to run together. Hey, Shortcake. Summer, Crafty Chris. So, Pointer Lover, Punksy, and Nay. You guys have been mods for me for a long time. I was trying to keep it separate and have mods on one channel and then other mods on the other channel, but I was thinking about like adding everybody back here because I don't want to leave you guys out, and we haven't been going live on the second channel. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet about that. I don't know. But before we get started, let me show you guys this really cute t-shirt. Here's the link to her Etsy shop. I'm going to wear it as well and, in a live later. But it's too cute not to show you now. Hello, you guys. Okay, so he says coffee and true crime. Look how cute. I love it, and I love the green color. I actually have on like kind of green like a similar color green legging right now. But yeah, I just thought that was so cute. I love it, and I have my phone pulled up so I can drop the link. So here is the link to her Etsy shop, and she has lots of stuff like true crime, but also other things. So you guys go check it out, definitely. I thought this was so cute. Thank you so much. You know who you are. I'm sure you don't mind if I say your name, but I'll just wait to hear from you about that. Thank you so much. I love it. I can't wait to wear it with some ripped up black jeans and all the things. Yeah. So now, Bendy, holy moly, I'm so freaking happy you're here. I've missed you. We've all missed you.
Hi, babe. I missed you too. I'm so happy to be here. I missed all you guys.
Yay! I was about to say, how does it feel to be back after so long? Look, Carol Claus, Alex and Jinlu, bestest tag team on YouTube. Jinlu, you have been so very missed. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I feel like I've been gone forever, man. I forget sometimes when you're away from YouTube, how it's one day away from YouTube is like a month. So 3 days is like a half a damn year.
I know. It is. Time is weird on YouTube, but I feel like you've been gone forever too. And cool shirt. Yeah. Did you see that shirt? How cute was
Yes,
that?
it was adorable. I want one.
Hey, Marcus.
I'm going to go over to that. I'm going to go over to the Etsy shop and find it.
Me too. And they have other ones too, like holiday stuff, like just really cute ones. Go hit that. Actually, let me pin that link in the top so you guys don't lose it. And then today we're going to talk about Harmony Montgomery. Adam Montgomery's been in his weapons trial. Jen actually watched a little bit more of that than I have. Hold on just a second. I want to hear your thoughts on what you think about it, but one of the kids just woke up from a nap.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad to be back, you guys, and it feels great to have people actually miss you. That's wonderful. Although I don't like to make you guys miss me, but it low-key kind of feels good that you did. I'm not going to lie. I feel like also I think the last time I was on panel was like last Wednesday. Yeah, it was, and it was here on Alley. So I had a fantastic weekend. The graduation was amazing, except for after it was all said and done and everything was all over with. We were like they were, directing us how to get out of there. Right? It was at the Florida, South Florida University arena. It's Yuling. I think it's Yuling Theater or Yuling Amphitheater. I don't remember, but Yuling something, like the beer. Anyway, so we couldn't figure out why, like, everything's progressing just great. Everybody's moving, like, we all look like a herd of cattle. We're all moving. Everything's great. And then all of a sudden, everybody just stops, and we're like, "What is going on?" Well, where everybody has stopped because it has decided to rain, and it is not just raining; it is pouring. So they had everybody park at gate C, but they had everybody leaving out of gate A. So, including the graduates. So we all got kind of poured on. I had to, in the end, take my sandals off because, rain and lotion on your feet and sandals is a very dangerous combination. So I had to walk around the whole other side of the place of the arena with barefoot and through the parking lot. And poor Minnie Bendy Lou, we were going to take pictures after the ceremony. And we couldn't even do that because, bless her heart, she went all the way to gate C2 from the outside. They weren't letting people go inside. And so she's, soaking wet. We were all soaking wet, but we had a fantastic time. And I'm so, so proud of her. I couldn't be more proud. It was a great graduation. It was fantastic. Aside from, Florida being on some bullshit and deciding to rain, it was super fun.
I'm so glad you guys had a good time, and you deserve a little bit of time away from here and all that stuff. And hey, you guys coming in, hey, Mrs. M and Shay Benet and anybody I didn't say hi to. It's crazy though. Our kids grow up too fast, Jen. It's that. It's like it's sweet but sad,
I know, but I just couldn't be more proud of her, and I am pleased to announce that while Minnie Bendy was contemplating moving out, we talked about it, and when she turns 18, which isn't for a few more months, we talked about it, and she has said she's not quite ready, which is fine with me.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. That's what I'm worried about myself. Like when Trenton moves out, and he's only going into high school this year, but I'm like, God, I don't want him to go live at college already. It's too quick.
I know. And it's like after they hit junior high, it just goes super quick from there.
Yeah, it does.
So, yeah. Anyway.
So let me grab this article really fast. So Kayla Montgomery, in June of last year, she met with police and she told them what happened to Harmony. She's the reason that, we know anything. I did find the paperwork from that meeting, but I was trying to find this article I thought I sent myself. June. Harmony. And then we'll watch that because it's like an hour and some long. I can't wait to watch it with you. I watched the first half. It's more than an hour and something. The first half is like an hour and some. I haven't seen the second half yet.
Okay, so I intentionally did not watch Kayla. I saw that she testified, and I was going to cover it when I came back, and then I realized I saw your live scheduled, and I was like, oh, Allie's going to do it. Perfect. So that's when I messaged you this morning and was like, okay.
When I mentioned it yesterday, actually, if you go back and listen, I was like, I'm hoping that Jen's going to do it with me, but I haven't talked to her. And then I said that when we talked about Shabusiness, that Taylor Shabusiness, I was like, well, I just, I need to do this with Jen. Like, I can just hear her in my head right now as we're talking about.
Oh, that lady, oh my God, she is an entire mess. I mean, I sometimes I don't even have words for Shabusiness because she does way too much. Yeah. So,
well, we should go through it all together, like the court
process.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we will. Absolutely, we will. So I haven't watched Kayla. We're on Verdict Watch right now with Adam Montgomery, but I have to tell you guys before we get started, Um, I did watch a little bit of the trial as it was happening. I really tried to stay kind of away from, YouTube and all of that. I really just wanted to spend time with my sister and my nephew, and I had a blast.
Yeah.
Um, but I did catch a little bit of it here and there. And when I saw Adam's attorney, all I could think of was Elaine from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. She looks like Elaine, kind of acts like Elaine a little
Oh,
bit. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Just listening to her like irks me inside a little bit. The prosecutor, though, what I have listened to him, like he seemed pretty decent. I mean, is that who's going to be doing the trial in August?
Now that I am not sure of. However, there were a couple of things that happened today during the trial. They had one of the investigators the detective that actually investigated Harmony's death on the stand. And it was through that investigation that they obtained some of the information respective to these weapons charges. But as the questioning was going on, and you guys bear with me, I've only been home for like 24 hours and I'm still a little like, oh, kind of. So anyway, I cannot remember what they specifically asked him. It was not actually something that we would consider traditional hearsay. It was actually, the answer was a yes or a no answer, and it had to do with the phone. And she objected, and it was on the basis of hearsay, and it was sustained, which actually really surprised me. So now I'm going to have to investigate that further, because I'm wondering if it's not a situation of like fruit of the poison tree, meaning they did not have a search warrant for that phone. And so anything and everything pertaining to that phone might not be able to be used. But I'm not sure if that's what the deal is. I can't imagine that they would not have a search warrant, but the line of questioning from this that they gave this detective today on direct, that's the part I watched, was it was a very fine line between the weapons charge and the murder of Harmony. So I thought, but I mean, it seemed like from what I did see, they did a really good job, the state did, of staying away from the murder.
Yeah.
And yeah, and wait till y'all see what's her face, Kayla, testify. Now that I did read comments about it. I didn't watch it, but I did read the comments so I could kind of have an idea. And wow.
Okay. I'm going to save my commentary for them, but I have some thoughts on it as well. Okay, so that's perfect for what I was about to show you. That whenever she confessed to what happened to Harmony, I believe they technically were trying to steer clear of Harmony to talk about the weapons thing, and there was spillover. So it's really confusing getting the court documents. I've got hers, I've got his weapons ones, and then I've got some where they're talking about this, the spillover because of that fine line that was, it's hard to separate. But I'll just read this quickly so people in the chat have an idea of kind of the deal here. Kayla Montgomery told investigators in June that Adam murdered his 5-year-old daughter, according to court documents. The paperwork was filed in a separate stolen weapons case against Adam. It details an interview Manchester police said they had with his estranged wife, Kayla, on June 3rd. Court documents also stated that Kayla claimed that Adam encouraged her to lie multiple times about where Harmony was, basically giving Kayla a cover story and telling her as long as she stuck to the story, everything would be okay. Adam is facing charges of felony theft, being a felon in possession of a weapon, and being an armed career criminal in connection with the thefts of a rifle and shotgun in fall of 2019. According to documents, a witness said Kayla and Adam talked about selling the stolen firearms for money and drugs and taking care of the kids. Adam was charged with second-degree murder because there was bleed over between topics, the court documents said. It said they were trying to keep interviews related to firearm charges and Harmony's murder separate. The charges indicate that Adam is accused of repeatedly striking Harmony with his fist on or about December 7th. He is also accused of falsifying physical evidence by altering, destroying, concealing, or removing Harmony's body and tampering with witnesses or informants by trying to cause Kayla to testify falsely. He waived his arraignment on the new charges, and so we're going to watch her testify in this. I wanted you guys to hear that, just because the dynamic between them is, it's interesting.
It's quite toxic. And during opening statements, Adam's attorney, basically, the defense was this. Adam wasn't for the weapons charge. Adam was nothing more than a middleman. He's not the one that actually stole the weapons, nor did he have possession of the weapons. It was another guy named Ishmael, and the attorney kept calling him Ish, which was just funny because it was just the way she was saying it, and it was super casual, and it just made me chuckle. So essentially, she said, he was wrong for being in the middle like that, but the elements of the charges, a lot of them have to do with Adam being a felon, and not only that, like a 3-time felon. And so he's really not supposed to have these weapons at all, period. And that he acknowledges essentially that he never should have basically found buyers for these weapons, but that's all he did. He never possessed them. And so that is one of the necessary elements. You have to possess them and control them, meaning it is your decision what ultimately ends up happening with these weapons. And then she pointed out repeatedly, and she's not wrong, and I'm curious about this too, when the trial for Harmony comes up, for Harmony's murder, but a lot of the people that took the stand for the state are current and former drug addicts, and were facing other charges, although they were way lower, consequences, way lower scaled consequences. They're not all facing felonies. So I think it'll be interesting.
Oh, I do too. Super interesting. I did see that there was someone supposed to testify who was awaiting trial in the murder of her son, I guess, about what Kayla told her in jail. Did you happen to catch any of that?
Yes. And I think what the deal is with that is the state felt like with Kayla testifying and the other witnesses that they had, they could put those firearms in Adam's hands, and he had ultimate control over what occurred with those firearms. He is the one who was in possession. He had the control over them, and he is ultimately the one who stole them. So he was not just his attorney wanted, how they always, excuse me, after everything's said and done. Hold on, I'm going to choke really quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, I can't even.
Oh no. Hey, I'm curious. CJ, preschool granny. Oh, Carol Claus, thank you so much for gifting that. And also, what an awesome person to get it. Connie, I'm so glad that you got it. Welcome.
Sorry, I had something in the back of my throat. And I still do a little bit.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Not really choking. I'm just being dramatic. If you're talking, you're not. If you're talking, you're not choking because you need air to be able to speak. Choking is without air. Okay, so anyway, that's not here or there. But she wanted the charges dismissed based on the evidence. This is what happens usually at the end of the trial. When the state rests, the next thing the defense does is motions for the charges to be dropped and the case to be dismissed. Because what she said is, and he's not charged with this, she said at best they maybe have provided evidence of Adam at some point in time for a short period of time, basically being in possession of stolen property, but nothing about nothing. But that's not what he was charged with. So, of course, the judge said, no. The state provided plenty of evidence. No, we will not be dismissing these charges.
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
It seems like we see that almost every, with all of them. They try at the end there to get it thrown out.
Yes, that's like standard protocol.
Hey, wondering sub. Hey, Tiff. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. I will say this right now, Kayla, and she'll get into that. She is a ward of the state currently, and I have her court documents that detail every single dollar that she got in Harmony's name. I don't think we will go through that today. We don't have time. This is a lot, but we can in the future, because I don't look here. She can say that she was scared of Adam. They were no longer together by the time that he was arrested. She was living in a homeless shelter, and he was living in the car with a different woman. There is absolutely no excuse. She knew what happened to Harmony the entire time. And the only reason she spoke is because her ass was about to get pinned, in my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. I have nothing for this woman, and I don't feel a bit sorry for her. I really don't. I'm angry with her, but I will say she almost appears to be medicated or something. Like, I know she's in
Oh,
jail, but
she's on she's on a maintenance drug to keep her from craving opiates. So I think she's either on methadone or Suboxone. I can't remember which one it is.
oh,
But she's most definitely medicated, which was a lot of what the comments were after the fact. How can why would the state put her up there like that? Does she even know what she's saying? And she's medicated and she has a sedated effect, but it's not like, I don't think she's of clear mind. I think she knows exactly what she's saying.
yeah.
I just think,
See, I would think that to me, it looks like, if I would have guessed before you told me that, I would have guessed maybe like a little bit of a nerve pill or something like that. Maybe it's methadone. But I think she's clear. I agree. I think she's clear minded. I think she's just, you can tell that she's not exactly alert.
Right.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Let's go. I'm excited to watch it with you guys. Okay.
Oh wait, I lied before we start. So part of the reason that I agree with Allie as far as Kayla turning on Adam, because I think what they initially approached her with, I do think she knew where Harmony was the entire time, but I don't think that the state actually threatened her with that at that time when she finally confessed. What they did threaten her with was, you lied in front of a grand jury. You're going to be in big, big trouble. And not only that, but, you lied about the weapons charges and all of this stuff that's occurring. It's concurrent at the same time as Harmony is missing and they're looking for her. And so that's part of it. So they didn't I don't think they outright actually said anything real direct about Harmony, but I think that it might have been implied. And they said, and we're going to start with you lying to the grand jury, because now we have, because of the investigation into Harley's murder, or her disappearance initially, right? Because that's how it started out. There were different search warrants executed, and a lot of it had to do with electronics and video surveillance from stores where Adam ditched a cell phone and stuff like that. So I think they were implying it. I don't think they overtly said anything, but I do think you're right. I think there might have been mention at the very least of an accessory after the fact charge. And she's all right. I mean, yeah, and she's doing her time on her perjury.
Okay, and now that you say that, I remember I was half asleep watching this, but there was talk about a proffer, and we'll just have to get there. But what was that? That is not a deal, but it's like the next best thing, right? Can you explain that to me again? Or
so a proffer is basically a statement that is given by a person who, with no deal agreement has been reached. Okay, they're doing this, but it is under oath. You cannot lie. And so it is a big deal. You can't just be, saying whatever you want and just pointing the finger and, whatnot. But you do not have a deal. You go in there and you are testifying. Essentially, you're not testifying. You're giving a statement with the understanding that you have no guarantee that anything and everything will be used against you if they find anything. But if and in particular, if you lie, if it comes out that you lie, they're gonna throw on some extra charges. So yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And isn't that what Harley had too?
Yes.
Like
yes. She went in there with the understanding that there was nothing for her. She was going to go in, she was either going to tell them what happened or she wasn't. But if she was going to go, so she went in there with the understanding that there was no deal. None.
Right.
So you either talk or you don't. But make sure if you do talk, you don't be lying.
You better tell the truth. Yeah. Oh, glad I'll never get myself in a damn situation like that. But
right.
Hey, Anna, I wrote it in chat, but I know you're working. So if you don't hear me, love you too. And I hope you're having a good day at work. And hey, Hash Brown, and hey, Candace, I had Bojangles hash browns, just a side note, the other day, and they were so good. Oh my gosh, I want some more. They were delicious.
Okay, I do love some Bojangles chicken. I'm not going to lie.
It's good, but it's a little spicy, I think.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Oh, okay.
Allie ain't down with the spice.
Okay, I press and play.
All right.
Well, I just could imagine the tension in this room at this time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No Bojangles here. We didn't have.
Yeah, Bojangles is a southern thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think the farthest east they go. Well, no, because you're a little further east. I know they have them in Georgia. I know they have them in Arkansas.
Okay, Kayla, can you please state and spell your first?
I don't think they have them in Texas.
We didn't have them in West Virginia. So I know they're not that far. Okay.
All right. Last name for the jury.
My name's Kayla Montgomery. Kayla Montgomery.
Okay, and how old are you, Kayla?
32.
Where do you currently reside?
The state prison for women.
And how long have you lived there?
Since November 2022.
Why do you live in the women's prison?
Perjury charges.
Were you convicted of those charges?
Yes.
And sentenced for those charges?
Yes.
Were you also charged with receiving stolen property?
Yes.
And those charges were dismissed as part of it?
Yes.
Charges dismissed.
Is that her looking at him, by the way, when she looks that direction? Just curious, so I know.
She's probably looking in his general direction, yes. Okay. She may also be it's kind of hard to tell how this courtroom is set up. She's either looking at him or she's looking at the jury. She's nervous. She's nervous. Yeah. And she did get a deal. So she pled guilty to the perjury charges and she was sentenced. And in exchange for that, the state dropped the receiving stolen property charges. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't have added, it wasn't like a huge deal. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't going to get her like an extreme amount of time off of her sentence. She didn't get like a sweet deal. They didn't like make a deal with the devil or anything.
Okay.
Missed as part of a plea agreement?
Yes.
And you admitted to lying to the grand jury?
Yes.
Did you admit to, apologies. Did you admit to lying to the grand jury?
Yes.
Do you understand the consequences of providing false testimony here today?
I'll speed it up a little because it is slow it.
How are you doing today, Kayla?
I'm okay.
Is it difficult for you to be here?
Yes.
Why is that?
It's a lot.
And so, Kayla, there's a microphone right in front of you. It looks like a stick coming out from beside the computer screen there. If you can just sit a little bit closer to that, it's a little difficult for me to hear you. And I want to make sure that all of these jurors are what you're saying. So you said it's a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know someone named Adam Montgomery?
Yeah.
And how do you know him?
He and my husband.
You said he's your husband?
Yeah.
How long have you two been married?
It'll be 6 years.
Do you remember the date you got married?
Yeah, it was June 7th, 2017.
Ooh, today's their anniversary.
Happy anniversary,
How long have you
assholes.
known Adam Montgomery?
Since we were in high school.
Are you currently in legal proceedings related to your marriage?
Yes.
Did you file for divorce?
Yes, I did.
Did you leave the defendant at some point in time?
Yes.
Do you know if after you left him, he started a relationship with another individual?
Yes, he did.
Do you know that person's name?
Kelsey Small.
Did you ever meet Kelsey Small?
Yes.
Do you have any children with the defendant?
Yes, I do.
Kelsey is no longer living, but not because of this or anything. After, all of this started breaking with Harmony, she had an overdose.
I have 3.
3 children. What are their names?
Seamus, Declan, and Kira.
So you talked about where you're currently living at the women's prison.
Yeah.
Where did you live back in October of 2019?
I was living at 77 Guilford Street in Manchester, New Hampshire,
How long did you live there?
for about a year and a half.
For a year and a half. Why did you stop living there?
Because we got kicked out of the house.
Was that an eviction?
Yes.
Do you remember what month and what year that was?
November 2019.
When you lived at the 77 Guilford Street address, who did you live with there?
It was myself, Adam, Seamus, Declan, and Harmony.
Do you think you'd recognize that address if you saw it today?
Yes.
Yes, you may.
I just want to take just a second. I won't pause a ton so we can get through it, but unless you want me to, Jen, if there's something you want to say. But this is the house where the door was left propped open and people said that there was a heavy smell of bleach in the house. The apartment, the next place they lived is where they took the refrigerator from. But just quickly, let me show you guys a picture. This is Kayla and Adam back when they were together, and this is when they were arrested. Shoo.
Wow.
And here's Harmony, beautiful baby. But so yeah, they look rough there. You can tell they've been okay. Yeah, just let me know if you got something. I'm gonna press play. Okay. Oh, wow. Interesting.
Listen to those birds.
They're singing.
They're just a sing-songing away.
So, Kayla, I'm going to hand you. It's been marked for identification as states.
Oh, I wonder what he's thinking right now. I would love to just be inside of his head for half a second during this moment.
Oh, I know, right?
J. And I'm just going to ask you to look at each of those.
Pretty young prosecutor, you know?
He's pretty young, but he did a really good job.
That kind of has me looking forward to the next trial.
Same.
Are you looking for more in this world?
No, we are not.
We are looking for you.
No, thank you.
No, we'll pass. Maybe later. Right now, we're just looking to get through this part of her testimony, if you don't mind. Thanks.
Yes. I like the name Harmony too, Corey. I can't fathom what she endured either. I mean, he admittedly
You can go through them starting with 42.
punched her for not watching her brother and stuff like that. He's just evil. He should have never had that baby.
No, he should have never ever had her. And there's problems there because there was a lack of communication between through CPS. I mean, because they were different cities.
Yep.
And so or counties or both. And so there was a lack of communication because nobody can figure out how this fool got Harmony at all in the first place. He barely even knew her to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start there. So it wasn't like she grew up with him and CPS is huge into reuniting families, which is not the word they use. I forget the word they use, but that word. It's reunification. And thank you, Ellie. And they were not. There was no real reunification because she didn't know him.
Yeah, I mean that's just that's infuriating. That poor baby going. Thank you, Carol freaking Claus. Happy birthday, Harmony. Justice will be served, precious, adorable girl. Thank you. That's very sweet. And then Maria says, "Hey, Chad, I miss you all. I've been sick. I hope you're feeling better, Maria." Hey,
I hope you're feeling better, Maria.
Okay, are we still on verdict watch? Yeah, Sherry.
Yeah.
There, as far as I know, because Jen's the one who's keeping us or who updated us on that. I haven't been watching it as much as I should, but I've got I'm trying to catch up after, like I watched this after it happened that night. But it's just, I think because it's the weapons part, I've been less interested. Like during the real trial, I feel like I'll want to see every moment, but. Okay.
And I've been thinking about why Adam would plead not guilty to this. I mean, let's be honest, between this charge, yeah, the penalty is steep, right? But it is not as steep as, the second charge, the other charge that he's facing with respect to Harmony's murder, right? It's that, that one's the more serious of the two charges, right? But I couldn't figure out, and I was thinking about this morning while I was in the shower, why the hell didn't he just plead this out? And I think that it has to do with the fact that so much of the evidence that they ended up getting in this case ultimately was stemmed from the investigation into Harmony's disappearance. And so I think that if he'd have taken a plea deal on this, I think his lawyer might say, well, it might look bad on you for Harmony's murder when that trial comes up. So, you're agreeing that they got this part right, but this is the stuff that they were looking into when Harmony was missing. So it's probably a strategic thing because I can't, that otherwise it makes no sense.
Well, I think it's like a 40-year sentence, if he is found guilty, that's a long time. Not that he would do it all. I don't really know in the state that he's in how to do it, that kind of thing, but 40 years. Yeah,
I mean, 40 years is not, but usually most states you got to do 80% or 85% of your time before you're eligible for parole. But at least there's an eligibility for parole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Music City Mom, I despise when my boss makes me go to meetings instead of you two. Hey,
do you need a letter? I can write a letter. Do you need a letter?
No, but I think you are right about it being strategic. That's it. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think this attorney might be the one also representing him in the murder trial, but I can't be sure on that. It's just I think. So it's just speculation on my part. I will probably look into it more and follow up with a for sure answer.
Okay, yeah, because I want to know on both sides if it's going to be the same. I'm very interested in that. Okay.
Do A, and it looks like let me get them back in order really quick.
Very shaky camera. Look at it. Corinne says, Jen Lou, I missed your voice. Yeah, he looks, man. He's glaring at her or glaring that
Aw.
direction.
I think I don't know. He's angry at her, and he is definitely, in my opinion, it appears just from the camera angle. Obviously, I'm not in his brain. It does appear that he is glaring at her and trying to intimidate her while she's in the witness box. I had something else I was going to say, but now I forgot.
Okay, well, if you remember.
I'm telling y'all, this Florida sun, I forgot. I mean, I knew it hit different, but when you're intentionally laying by the pool to be in the sun and then unintentionally getting it at the ball field, I think I lost some brain cells. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't think I've lost them permanently, but I think they're definitely like a little sun bleached.
So starting with
Yeah.
going to Jay, if you could just look at those images.
Hey, I bet you look good though. Got a little
The
tan.
first A is the driveway. and
Well,
the
you
middle
know what I look like. I sent you a picture.
And
Well,
B
I
is
know, but I'm just
side,
a
middle is
little
the
tanner.
I am a little tanner.
This is in the basement ceiling.
I'm just going to ask you to please keep your voice up. All
Yeah.
the viewers need to be able to hear you. Thank you.
And if you could just note which letter you're on.
42C.
Okay, and what did you say 42C is?
That's the ceiling in the basement. And 42D is the ceiling in the attic, I believe. Yeah. And 42E is the attic, the storage room in the attic. And 40F is the room.
And whose room is
Bedroom.
F?
It was mine and Adam's and the two boys.
Okay, and G?
Harmony's room.
H?
Harmony's room. The kitchen is I, and the back J. Or the front. I don't know which one that is. Oh, that's the front.
There, it's the front.
Yeah.
So it's the front room.
Yeah, the living room.
If I would guess, she's on methadone, only because you can hear it in her voice. Not that it matters, but yeah, it's like something that as an addict you definitely can pick up on her voice, like that tone, the
Mhm.
crackling. And now the only reason I paused was it was interesting to hear and watch her facial expressions looking at Harmony's room.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I got nothing for her either, frankly.
Me neither.
And are those fair and accurate representations of the 77 Guilford Street address, as you remember?
Yes.
Judge, at this point, I'd move to strike the ID and participant.
Any objection?
I think she may have fixed it, or the question may have.
If you only list your vacation home on Air.
As you remember, but I think I'd like further foundation.
Yes.
So, Kayla, you said that those are fair and accurate representations of the Guilford Street address as you remember it.
Yes.
And so I was referring specifically to October 2019. Is that an accurate representation of the house back then
Yes, without the furniture.
and without your things?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Judge, at this point, I'd move to strike ID.
Any objection?
No, you're.
The ID is stricken. Each of those are entered as full exhibits.
And so, Kayla, you were telling us about the front room, and I think you also mentioned the kitchen.
Yes.
Where are those in relation to each other?
They are, when you walk into the house, the living room is right in the front, and then you walk through, and there's the kitchen. But there's a wall that separates the kitchen and the living room. But there's still the walkway to walk through.
So you can walk through from one to another. I'm going to take those back from you. If you need more water, just let me know. So focusing back on that time period, September, October 2019, what was your life like back then?
I was working up until November 2019 at Dunkin' Donuts. I would work 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Adam would be home with the kids while I'm at work. and he would drop me off and pick me up from work because I didn't have a license. And then after he would pick me up, I would be at the house with the kids, and he would leave some nights because we were using drugs.
When you say we were using drugs, what do you mean?
Like getting high, using heroin and crack and weed.
And when you say we were getting high and using heroin and crack and weed, who's we?
Adam and I.
You need to stop
And
right there,
what was your-
ma'am. We did not make you do this. So stop right. Don't even put weed in there with this business.
I thought the same thing when I heard that. I was like, hey, whoa, 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 you've gone too far.
You've gone too far, ma'am. Don't start blaming the weed. I promise you the weed did not do this.
No, but you know what? Oh, Summer, thank you. Summer gifted a membership. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you, Summer.
Okay, Jen, this is just infuriating to watch, though, to hear about like the life that these kids were living. You know,
Yeah.
like you think about, because I've been in like toxic relationships like that, but then they have all these little kids and having more babies and people in and out. She's working, don't have a license. Like, you know, I wonder if he even had a license, but he's driving these kids around while he's doing drug deals, doing gun deals. Oh my
Right,
God, no wonder.
exactly. Exactly. So how the hell did Harmony end up back in that house? That's what I want to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, me too. Hey, Vanessa. Okay.
Because he's a felon. It's not like Adam was unknown to the local police department.
Yeah.
He knew
hell,
that.
he had-
They knew who he was.
was it like attempted murder, or there was some kind of major charge like that he faced before he got Harmony? I'd
Now,
have to
don't get me to lying. I have to go back and look too because it's been a minute. But yeah,
Okay. Same here. I don't want to say and be sure, but I'm pretty certain there is something like that. Okay.
Your drug of choice.
It was both heroin and crack.
Are you sober now?
Yes.
What did it take for you to become sober?
Going to jail.
I asked you about your drug of choice back then. What was the defendant's?
Heroin.
And you mentioned working at Dunkin' Donuts up
Yes.
until November of 2019.
Yes.
What did the defendant do for work back then?
He was home with the kids.
And he'd leave at night, you said?
Yeah, he would leave after I'd be home for a couple hours, and go for rides.
Okay. Do you know, back then, how did you get your drugs?
I had money from my job, and that's what I remember up until we got kicked out, evicted from the house.
And you mentioned Harmony, Declan, and Seamus. How did you support them?
We had food stamps, and my income, which was barely anything at the time.
Was there anyone that you were close to back then in September, October 2019?
There was a few people that were in and out back then of my life, but I know one that was around a lot was Tabitha Scott.
And what about people from work? Were you close to anyone there?
Kimberly Frayne.
You knew her from work?
Yes.
Kimberly Frayne
How
is
long
the
have you known
wife
Kimberly Frayne?
of the gentleman whose guns were stolen.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
She's also an addict, and her husband was out of town. He's not on drugs. He worked construction, like road repair and stuff like that. And so what would happen is he would leave Sunday night and be gone throughout the entire week, and then get off of work because the crews would go out of state, and he would work out of state and work through until Friday, afternoon. And whenever he got off Friday afternoon, then he would drive back and spend the weekend at home. And it was over that one of those weeks that he was gone that that the guns were stolen, and the wife had 11 billion different stories about how it happened in the beginning. Like, she did not want to put Adam at the house
Oh.
initially. Yes, because she was trying to keep her addiction secret from him. They're now divorced.
Oh my God. Wow. And you're
Mhm.
right, Maria. She damn sure did. That's what I was going to say during her food stamps comment, but I just let it go because I don't want to pause too much. I know you guys are trying to listen or
Yeah.
whatever. But
And there's another element that is missing as far as income. So I'm not exact. This is something that was just brought up, like in the comments section, was that Harmony was declared legally blind in one of her eyes, and would have likely been receiving Social Security disability.
oh.
But they haven't mentioned that. So I don't know if she was or she wasn't.
Oh, and he was making money slinging drugs all day. I mean, at least somewhat, he was probably supporting their habits. I will say
Right.
this. If you look at her here versus her mugshot, she does look like she's living a healthier life,
Yes.
no matter what she's on. But
Albeit in prison.
yeah, yeah. Do you know how long she got, by the way? Because I don't know that
I forget. I'll have to look it up.
okay.
2016, I believe.
And so back in October of 2019, how would you describe your relationship with her? You've called her a friend. Were the two of you close?
Yeah, we weren't as close as we used to be because I switched franchises, so I didn't see her that much. But started talking to her again because she was using drugs at the time and she had a car, and it was just another way to be able to get drugs.
Through Kimberly?
Yes.
Do you know where she lived back in September, October 2019?
I remember she lived on Russell Street in Manchester.
Have you been to her home on Russell Street?
Yes.
How many times would you say?
I don't know, probably about 4 or 5 times that I can remember.
And who did she live with back then in her home on Russell Street?
Her husband, Chris Frayne, and her daughter, their daughter.
And you just mentioned Chris Frayne. Did you know him as well?
Yeah.
How'd you know him?
Through Kim.
How would you describe your relationship with him?
It was, I don't know, we were all just friends. Like, he was just a really nice person.
And have you kept in contact with either Chris or Kim Frayne?
I was in contact with Chris back in January, the end of December, January, before I got arrested.
And Kayla, I want to turn your attention specifically to October of 2019 and the theft of firearms. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yes.
What am I referring to?
The firearms got taken and stolen out of Chris Frayne and Kimberly Frayne's house.
What kind of firearms were stolen?
I have no idea what the names of them are. I just know they were big. I don't remember the names.
Let's back up. You said firearms. Was this more than one?
Yeah. Yes.
How many are we referring to?
2 that I remember.
Okay. And how would you describe them?
Like a rifle type. I don't know. They were just big. Rifle, shotgun. I don't know what the names of them are. I don't know what they're called.
So a rifle, shotgun?
Yeah.
Did you personally see these?
Yes.
I want to talk about the first time that you saw them. Can you tell us about that?
I know that there were people at the house that came so that we could buy drugs off them, and Adam was showing them to those couple of people that came by trying to sell them. And I remember I was taking care of the kids, and I was looking to see what was going on in the living room from the kitchen, and it was just chaos in that house at that time, that same night.
Why is that? Why was it chaos?
It was just a lot of people going in and out, and and taking care of the kids at the same
Yeah,
time.
because you can do that in a household. You can take care of kids. You know, we give them a healthy lifestyle with people going in and out like that.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
it's
Right.
infuriating to me.
I think she's using taking care of the kids in the very loosest terms possible.
Yeah, like making sure they didn't starve.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God. I just walked. I put my I put the video on my phone, the live stream, and walked next door because Bentley was napping when I started the live. I get over to the house. Bentley's in the house. Emmy and him are both awake, and the 2 neighbor kids are in my house, and they're in there.
Oh, good Lord.
Having like a little party. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Y'all can't be in here without me here. I don't know what you think this is.
Party at Allie's.
Yeah. Pray for me, Lord. Have mercy.
I don't even know.
And I think you said that night. Are we talking about nighttime?
Yes.
So the incident that you're describing, were you already aware at that point that the guns had been stolen from the Frayne house?
Yes.
All right. And you said people had come to sell drugs.
Yeah.
Was that to you or to someone else?
To Adam, but I was going to be doing the drugs too.
Okay. So they came to sell drugs to Adam. You were going to do the drugs as well.
Yes.
And it sounded like you said he offered to sell them the firearms.
Yeah, to trade them or buy the firearms or trade them for drugs.
Okay. So he had them at that point and he was going to trade them or sell them for drugs?
Yes. Trade them for drugs or sell them for money.
At that point, did you know what he was wanting to get for them?
No, I had no idea because I don't know. I never dealt with that before. I just let him deal with it because I don't know.
You don't know what fair market value is for stolen firearms. I mean, listen, you don't want to make that mistake, so probably good to stay out of it. Okay, Kayla.
Study tips. So she's testifying right now against him about some weapons that he's on trial for. The jury's out right now, actually. But during her meeting with investigators for this is actually when she confessed to what happened to Harmony. And we're just watching to get the dynamic and kind of just follow along to see what happens before the murder trial. And then there was one more I saw. Carol Claus, I'm coming to that party. Alex, it should be very interesting. You know my word. Okay. Overuse the word.
And the individuals that you're referring to that came to the house, do you know their names?
I remember Mike. I don't remember his last name.
Sullivan.
And I don't remember if the other 2 came that night, but there was always somebody with Mike all the time. And I just remember Ish and Manny. I don't know their last names.
Okay. So Mike, Ish, and Manny were there that night to sell Adam drugs?
I believe, yeah.
And I think you said he offered them the 2 guns?
Yeah.
And how long after you found out about the theft was this incident that you're describing?
It was within a couple of days, like the next night or something like that. It was around that time, the same time.
You described it as chaos. How did Ish, Manny, and Mike react to this offer of the guns?
They were checking them out, and they were just checking them out, looking at them, and they were saying that they would think about it. But they also knew that the guns were missing from Chris and Kim's house, but they didn't know that those were those guns yet.
Okay.
God, the slow blink.
When did
I
you
know,
first
right?
let me strike that question. At some point, did you become aware that the defendant had stolen Kim Frayne and Chris Frayne's firearms?
Yes.
And tell us about that.
I know Kim was freaking out because she noticed that they were missing, and she was trying to figure out where they went and who took them. before Chris came back home because he was on the road, truck driver or whatever he did.
He was not a
And
truck
so
driver, Kayla. You're not a
Kim
very
called and
good friend.
asked if we knew anything or
You don't say. So she was being completely selfish and living in her own world at the time.
Right. But knew nothing about her pal Kim and her
Yeah.
life. Rude.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Kayla. You're a great friend. No wonder.
Yeah.
Freaking, I can't imagine the friends you've got now, but
Mm.
I'm thinking that she probably, everybody in jail finds their place. Like, so people who hurt kids are, they're not liked in jail very much, but they find their place with other people who hurt kids. And, that lady that was going to testify today about, or whenever this week, about what Kayla told her, she's in there for killing her baby.
Yeah. So they bonded over that. Ugh, disgusting.
if anybody was in and out the house. And then the other people that I mentioned that she was involved with, she was asking everybody if they've seen them or took them or anything like that. But and something Kim's, I guess the night they got stolen, well, I know the night they got stolen, Chris, Kim left her door open to her house and she was passed out.
And let me stop you there. Were you there that night that the guns got stolen?
No,
But you said the night that they got stolen. How do you know that information?
because Kim was freaking out, and when she called, she said that her door was open, and then Adam went to go check on her too. Adam was supposed to be going to meet her, and when he pulled up to the house, the door was open, and she was passed out, and he woke her up.
Were you there for that?
No,
How do you know that?
because he told me.
And when you say he told me, who were
Adam
you?
told me.
So he told you that he went to her house that night?
Well, I already knew he was supposed to be going there
Okay. How did you know he was supposed to be going there?
because he was supposed to meet her to do something with drugs. It had something to do with drugs because that's the only time we really were seeing her
Was that typical for the defendant back then to go to her house by himself?
around that time. Yeah, because he was the one with the car license, and we weren't gonna bring the kids out when it's nighttime and it's time for them to go to bed.
Oh, I see.
described
You're
living on Guilford
responsible
Street,
drug
and I
addicts.
think you
Got
said
it.
Kim lived
Yeah.
on
Russell Street.
How
You
far
just don't
apart-
wanna
or
deal
How long
with
would it take
it,
to get
let's
from
be
your
real.
house to Kim's
Right.
house?
I don't know, maybe like 10 minutes. Could be less, a little less or a little more, but she lived all the way on, like, almost near Hooksett. She had like the near the store that I met her working at, the South Beach Street store before Livingston Park.
It took about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay, and I want to back up just a bit. You said the defendant told you that he went to her house, but you already knew he was going to her house.
Yeah.
And he told you that her door was open?
yes.
And then what else did he tell you about that interaction?
And he said that she was passed out and he woke her up. And when she woke up, she was freaking out about the guns missing.
When did he tell you that story?
It was that same night.
When he got home?
Yes.
And can you describe for us him getting back home?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you walk us through him returning home that night?
I know I was waiting for him, and I was laying down with the kids, and I think I heard him come through the door because I always heard him come through the door. And when he came through the door, I don't remember him having anything when he came through the door.
Did you see him come through the door?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think he was going in and out. And from what I remember, I don't remember seeing him bring anything in. I don't know where he put anything yet. Like, I don't know. I don't remember.
Did he have drugs with him that night?
Yes, I believe so.
And
I don't know. It's a fog because I know we were just getting high a lot.
and you said you didn't know where he put them yet.
No,
And what are you referring to by them?
because they were in the attic of the house.
Sorry, when you say they were in the attic, what are you referring to?
The guns.
Okay, and did you see the attic of the house in those photos that I showed you?
Yes.
So you told us about the story the defendant told you about going to Kim Ferrein's home, finding the door open, she's passed out, and then she started, I think you said, freaking out about the missing guns.
Yes.
Did he ever tell you a different story about that night?
No.
Oh,
Did you confront him about the guns?
I just didn't know what to say. I was kind of upset about it because that they're supposed to be our friends, but I don't know. It was just messed up, that whole situation.
Oh, what, Jen? And also, that's what you do in addiction like that. When you're in that heavy of addiction, you just don't have real friends. It's just the truth.
so the story about the guns is real convoluted as far as when Adam was actually at the house and how long he was at the house. Okay, because from Kim herself, initially, the story was pretty similar to what Kayla here is saying. Well, no, it's not. That's a lie. So what Kim said initially was that Adam had come over and she fell asleep, and when she woke up, Adam and the guns were gone. Okay, but then she told another story where Adam spent the night, and when she woke up, the guns were gone. So, and Kayla's story here is not real helpful because, I mean, obviously Adam lied to her about, this is what I find interesting, okay? He makes up a story about the guns, right? Says, he went over there and woke Kim up, and then Kim started freaking out about the guns, right? But then Kayla sees the guns. So later. So she never thought to ask Adam, like, bruh, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know.
So it's kind of convoluted. And I know that they have other witnesses with that, put the guns in Adam's possession. And so, yeah. I don't know. I just think it's this is how her testimony is going to go for her. Harmony. Oof.
Oh God.
It's going to be tedious.
I've been looking to see exactly what she told police so I can tell you guys. I mean, because there's more than just, I have the court documents, but there's more than just that, because there's several different documents where things have come out a little bit at a time from her, from Uncle Kevin, from different people. But she basically gave a date. She knows exactly. It was on or about December 7th. So she knows exactly what happened. Or how could she give a date like that? Also, as far as her methadone or whatever that she's on, yeah, she would get like a certain dose daily in the prison. However, once you start bringing things like that into inmates, rehabs, anything like that, you're going to have people who hold it back, save it for later, swallow it, maybe just trust me on that. Even
trade it.
Yes. And there's drugs in prison too. There just is. But Dakota, I think she knew exactly what he was doing and didn't care. She just wanted the drugs. Me too. The whole I wasn't happy about it because they were our friends. Bullshit. I don't buy that.
You don't even know what her husband does for a living. Y'all weren't friends.
Yeah. What kind
y'all
of
were y'all look, y'all were people who used together. That's not the same thing as a friend.
Okay. To the gray and wheels.
The reason they were even hanging out with Kim in the first place is because Kim had, I don't know how else to say this, but her husband was responsible. He worked full time. They had a nice house. He had steady income, and he was gone during the week. And so she was with her kids, but essentially had his money and free reign to do whatever she wanted to do. And that's why they hung with Kim. It's not like they were besties or anything like that. So stop playing with these people, Kayla.
Yes, exactly.
Just tell it how it was.
Yeah, you were with her because money, and the husband was gone, and what you could look, when you're in active addiction, and I'm not talking about you're taking your own medication and addicted to that, or, I'm talking about street life. When you're living on the street like this, real friendship is rare, because think about it. Addicts put their addiction before their own kids, parents, family, their own self. They don't have friends like that. They don't. That's just the truth. The ones that are on the street like that,
Exactly.
I'm sure there's exceptions, but you know what I mean.
Right.
And when you say they're supposed to be our friends,
Kim and Chris,
why were you upset about it?
because I didn't like the guns, first of all, and second of all, he just took them without even and he could have given them back after they realized they were gone, but he didn't.
And you said he just took them. How do you know he took them?
Because he's told me that he took them.
Okay, and so I want to stop you just then. So you told me the story he told you about going into the home, finding Kim passed out, waking her up, her freaking out.
Yeah.
It sounds like there was a subsequent conversation. So another conversation later when he told you that they were stolen. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that conversation?
All he said was that Kim was passed out and he ended up taking the guns. That's all. Like, there wasn't really a story with it.
And that upset you?
Yeah, because he took them from friends and I didn't want the guns in the house.
Took them from friends.
Yeah.
Were you still working with Kim at that point?
No, we worked at separate stores.
Did you ever talk to her about the theft that night?
Not that night, no.
Not that night, but did she discuss cameras with you at some point?
Yes.
And can you tell us about that interaction?
She told me that she called the police department and put a reported stolen items, and she said that she's gonna see whoever did it because there's cameras, neighbors and cameras, and she said that she was getting the camera footage or whatever so that she could see who took them.
Did that concern you at all?
Oh yeah.
And you'd already seen the guns at that point.
Yes.
What did you do with that information?
I told Adam.
What was his response?
Honestly, I don't remember. I know he was a little worried. I remember that, but I honestly don't remember.
So you previously described an interaction a night or two. It sounds like it was the night after the theft where Mike is there, Ish is there, and Manny's there.
Yes.
The defendant offered them the guns for sale or for trade.
Yes.
Drugs or money.
Yes.
Did you ever witness any other transactions like that with those guns?
Not that I remember. I know there was another transaction, but I don't remember. I don't remember how it went down, or I don't remember any of that, but I know there was.
Let me back up. The first transaction that you just described with Mike, Ish, and me, what were you doing during that?
I don't know. I was all around the house because the kids were awake and not in bed because they woke up from all the noise, which happened every time. And I tried keeping them in the kitchen and was trying to get them to relax, but that wasn't happening. And it was just a lot going on at once. The guys being in the house, and then also people getting high in the house, those people.
Yeah, and your baby's in there. When you call that taking care of your kids. I got a question for you, Jen, that I'm thinking as I'm watch her and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think he took Harmony in the first place?
I think for the benefits, for the financial benefits.
It had to be
because they were getting food stamps. I mean, because let's be honest, he didn't want anything else to do with her. And also, I'll tell you this, when you don't have your children, right? So when Harmony would have been with her mom, he would have been having to pay child support, right? And when the state has them, they also require, so I don't know if New Hampshire does, most states do, they require you to pay child support. And so this would have been a way for him to, in his, simple mind, to get out of, he would, in his mind, he's making money. She's, got benefit, she gets food stamps. That's an extra mouth. So that makes the food stamps go up, how much you get in food stamps. It also makes, so he would actually, in his stupid ass mind, be making money for Harmony being there rather than spending money because of child support, because he's a piece of shit. Sorry, that part's
makes
extra.
sense. Especially if she's getting a disability check or something like that, then even if not,
Exactly.
it makes
Exactly.
sense. Hey, Nicole.
Exactly.
Lucia, she's the stepmom of Harmony, and they are in divorce proceedings now. But
Yeah.
Mom, when my husband and I were going through a divorce, he said he wanted 50-50 custody so he didn't have to pay child support. I got him recorded saying that. Needless to say, he didn't get it. Well, good thing you got it recorded.
Good thing.
Yeah. Okay.
But then they would be there and then they'd be gone real quick. Like they'd come in and they leave.
Did the guns stay in the house that night?
Yes.
And I believe you said they were stored in the attic area.
Yes.
Were they stored in something?
I don't know.
Do you remember telling law enforcement that they were?
Basis?
Aiding in that proper foundation.
She's got that relaxed look that opiates give you.
Rephrase
You know what I mean? Of the
Do you remember them being stored or wrapped in something?
Yeah, she looks sedated.
Do you remember meeting with law enforcement? Do you
Yes.
remember at June 3rd proffer back in 2022?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember telling law enforcement at that point?
Approach?
approach. All right, let's see. Wait, did I pause that? Yeah, sorry.
I mean, as much as I don't want to admit it, I have to say for her part, Adam's attorney is doing a good job.
Just got better.
Right. At least speaking up and trying to give him some sort of defense.
Exactly.
He just looks scary to me. Ugh.
Yeah, he does.
Can we proceed?
During that proffer, do you remember disclosing that the firearms were stored in a blue sheet and blanket?
Yes.
Is that what they were stored in?
From what? In the attic, because we didn't sleep in the attic anymore. But I know they were stored in the storage room. But I do remember the sheet.
Wait,
Do you
anymore?
remember what color the sheet was?
Blue.
Were y'all sleeping in the attic at one point? Oh, Jesus.
I wouldn't put it
Was there
past
also a
him,
blanket?
Jesus.
I don't remember a blanket.
But you remember a blue sheet?
Yes.
How many times did you see those firearms in your house?
About three times, I believe. I don't remember, but I know at least 3 times.
Okay, and I want to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to ask you, do you know someone named Kevin O'Leary?
Yes.
Do you know him by another name?
No.
Okay. How do you know Kevin O'Leary?
He lived up the hill from the Guilford Street house, and Adam met him somehow. I don't know how, but I guess he knew him or something. And he was smoking weed. That's what it was, smoking weed. And he smoked a blunt with him, and that's how I remember them meeting, but I don't know if they knew each other from before. I don't remember.
Okay. Would you see him regularly, Kevin?
Yes.
How often would you see Kevin?
Can you pause just real quick?
Almost about.
Allie, please, just real
Yeah.
quick, because I just want to answer this in chat. Because I think, yes, this one. So Dakota, I'm not sure. I was talking about some stuff that had been alleged in the comment section. And when they were talking about financially, somebody had said that Harmony had been declared legally blind, which that means something different than, like can't see. But anyway, she had been declared legally blind and so would be getting Social Security disability money, potentially. But I don't know if she was or if she wasn't. I was just telling Allie and the chat that that's what had been discussed in some of the comment sections in the lives from like Court TV on this video. And I have to say this as well. I have never seen Court TV come in to their comment section, and if somebody has something right or wrong, one way or the other, actually acknowledge or anything like that. So, but I will say they've never done that. So even if it was right, they wouldn't say, even if it was wrong, they wouldn't say, but I will say this. I watched that specific comment very intently and refreshed several times. And at the last time that I refreshed, and went back and looked at it over a period of time, couple of days, nobody had commented underneath it to say, no, that's not correct, which other subscribers will do. So
Right.
I can't say one way or another. I don't know if she was on it or not. It just seems to me like if there was a chance for them to get some other form of benefit, I feel like I would not put it past them to do that. If that makes sense?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. And Pointer Lover, that sounds delicious, and your dog gets a steak too. That's awesome. But okay. Let me see. They don't have mods, Court TV. They need mods to be more interactive and gain members. Okay. All right. I'm going to play.
Okay.
Every day, like from back in that period of the fall 2019.
So very frequently, it sounds like.
Yes.
What was your relationship like with Kevin?
He wasn't really my friend. He was Adam's friend. So, but he would obviously he had respect for me because I'm Adam's wife, and he was very nice, but I didn't not like him, but I don't know. He was just there to me.
You said he was Adam's friend.
Yes.
Did you ever observe a transaction between Adam and Kevin?
No, I don't remember a transaction happening, but I remember Kevin looking at the gun. One of the guns. I don't even know if we had them all anymore. I don't know, but in the house, but I know he looked at one. He was looking at one.
Do you remember, sorry, when Kevin was looking at the gun, was that with you or was that with Adam?
Both.
Okay, so you were there for that.
Yes.
What were you doing at the time?
Getting high.
At the interaction, did Kevin and Adam leave your house with one of the firearms?
Not at that time, like not right at that moment. Kevin went home from what I remember, and because they did talk about leaving with it, and Adam had it put away under the bed we were sleeping in at the time. And I remember getting in a fight with him because I didn't want him to leave the house, especially with the gun. I got in an altercation with him about it and tried taking it from him, and he still took it and left anyways. And it was just not good. And if we kept arguing about it. The kids were gonna wake up.
Was it nighttime?
Yes.
And so the kids were asleep.
Yes.
You said you didn't want him leaving with it, or you didn't want him leaving, especially with a gun.
Yes.
Why?
Because I was nervous and scared that he'd get in trouble
Why would he get in trouble for having a gun?
because he's a felon and not supposed to have one.
Wow.
So you told him not to?
Kind of crazy that brought the emotion up in her, huh?
Yes, yes.
Huh. Wow.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's really crazy. Also, how does she have those earrings in jail? Are they allowed to have that? Like,
Oh. Well, she's in prison and prison has some different rules. Evidently, she must be allowed to.
yeah. And you're right. That's true. So in jail, they might not, but in prison, it's like a little community, like a little city, basically.
Yeah, it's a little different. So she might be allowed to.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah. That brought up emotion in her almost. I don't know, as if she still cares, which I'm sure she does, but you didn't want him to get in trouble, then why were y'all doing this shit? Why did you?
Right. I know.
Yes.
Did he leave anyway?
Yes.
You know where he went with it?
I remember him and Kevin talking about going up behind Rock Rimmon to shoot it off. That's what I remember.
Do you remember him coming back that evening?
I don't remember. I was sleeping with the kids at the time.
And after he left to go to, I think you said Rock Rimmon,
Yeah.
to shoot the gun, was that gun under your bed after that?
Not that I noticed.
Do you know any other individuals that the defendant attempted to sell those guns to?
No, not that I know of.
Do you know someone named Mark Reed? Do
Yeah. Yes.
you know someone named Tone?
Yes.
Did the defendant ever offer the firearms to them?
Yes. I don't know about Mark, but Tone, yes.
Can you tell us what you know of that?
Just offered to trade it for drugs.
Do you know Tone's full name?
Anthony Badero.
Okay, Crime News, I don't see a way that she wouldn't testify at trial because she is the one who ultimately is the reason why he is getting put away for Harmony's murder. It's because of her statements during interrogation about these weapons and saying that Harmony went, he killed her around December 7th and about it and all that. It's her statements pretty much like alone. I mean, they do have other circumstantial evidence, but they haven't found Harmony. So
She's a witness to it. She witnessed it.
yeah, so she'll definitely testify, don't you think, Jen?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes, she will.
That's gonna be. Oh, I cannot wait. We don't have long. That's in
No.
August.
Right, exactly.
Kayla, I want to back up. So you mentioned these two firearms. Do you know anything about a stolen pistol from the Ferrin home?
No. I do not.
Did you ever have a conversation with Kim about a missing handgun?
Not that I don't remember.
So I want to back up to that June 3rd proffer that we discussed earlier. During that proffer, do you remember telling law enforcement that Kim mentioned a stolen or a misplaced handgun, but that was well before the stolen guns in this case?
Yes.
Does that you remember that conversation with Kim?
Yes.
Is that what she told you?
Yes.
And was it well before your husband stole her guns?
Yes.
Kayla, do you remember where you were back on December 30th, 2021?
Either in a family shelter at Fit or at my mom's. I don't remember which one.
Yes.
And so Kayla, I'm handing you, it's been marked for identification as 46A through E. And I'm going to ask you to turn to the last page, E.
Okay.
And you can set those aside. With respect to 46E, do you recognize anyone in those photos?
Yes.
Who do you recognize?
Kelsey and myself.
And you had mentioned a Kelsey Small earlier.
Yes.
Is that Kelsey Small in those photos?
Yes.
And you said yourself as well?
Yes.
What were you doing in those photographs?
Trading in phones at the phone machine thing that's at Walmart for money.
So that's the girl that Adam ended up getting with after he and Kayla split up, who she's now no longer living. She unfortunately passed away of an overdose. But it's kind of crazy that they were hanging out together.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So how did you arrive? You mentioned Kelsey Small. Were you with her that day?
Yes.
Were you with anyone else?
Adam.
Did Kelsey and Adam leave you at some point during your interaction there or your time there at Walmart?
Yes.
You know where they went?
No.
So Kayla, I want to switch gears. Do you know someone named Tara Hilbert?
Yes.
Can you tell us about your relationship with Tara?
She was the property manager at the apartment that we were last living in together, on Union Street in Manchester. And we ended up having a friendship. And it was a good friendship. Like, our kids played with each other outside, and we cooked together, had barbecues and stuff like that. We were friends.
And when you say we cooked together, had barbecues, who do you mean when you refer to we?
Myself and Adam and Tara and her boyfriend,
Do you remember his name?
Josh.
Were you ever party to a conversation between Tara, her husband, and the defendant regarding firearms?
I don't remember.
Do you remember a conversation where the defendant accused you of telling the police on him in front of Tara, her husband?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
He was.
Yes.
Okay, this is sped up on 1.5, and she still is talking severely slow. It's kind of crazy. Pepper. So we don't know. The police went back to do a search for Harmony. I actually did a live where a subscriber of mine went down there where they were searching, was filming for us, and there was tons of police presence at one of their old apartments last summer after Kayla's statements. And they came in and they removed a refrigerator from the house. And they also were looking in the sewage. Like, they had cameras and people down in the sewer. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and in my opinion, the way that I've kind of taken all the evidence in, that something happened in the Guilford Street home to Harmony. And then she was transported possibly in or to the refrigerator, and then maybe disposed of through the sewer or something like that, just based on their searches and stuff. But we have to wait for the trial to find out. I'll show you. I've got some pictures pulled up of that apartment and stuff. They took flooring from in front of the refrigerator, and I think they also removed a piece of the wall in the closet or something.
Yeah.
Got anything before I go, Jen, that you want to say?
No.
Okay.
Well, but like just to agree with you, yeah, we're going to have to wait for the trial. I think what they think happened, why they would be looking in the sewers, is perhaps she was not intact, and maybe pieces were flushed down the
God.
toilet, stuff like that.
Oh my God Almighty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
One day in Paris in 1775, a young man, Jean-François Bigan, hung a
How awkward for them. Not that they need to sit in awkwardness forever, but
Right. Exactly.
Wake up, honey. Sorry. I just feel like being like, hello.
Let's go, Kayla. Come too. Come on.
I know, Corinne. He does have such a smug. Ugh. I'm 15 minutes behind, and I literally am in tears hearing Kayla's testimony. What the F is wrong with Adam? Okay, here we go.
So Kayla, we were talking about a conversation between you, Tara, the defendant, and Tara's husband. Do you remember a conversation about these guns? The defendant accused you in front of Tara of telling law enforcement on him.
Yes, he accused me of a lot of things.
And during that conversation, did he say that you were working with the police?
Yes.
Were you still using drugs back then?
Yes, it was off and on.
And was the defendant still using back then?
Yes.
Had his temperament, or sorry, had his, I'll strike that question. So Kayla, we spoke earlier about that June proffer.
Yes.
Do you remember who was party to that proffer? So who was there?
Myself, my lawyer, Paul, and Jesse, I forget his last name.
Does O'Neill sound familiar?
Yeah.
Okay. And how did you come to be there for that proffer?
Because I got subpoenaed to be questioned about Harmony, and I lied to the grand jury because I was scared.
So let me back up. Had you been charged with a crime prior to the meeting for that proffer?
Yes.
And Your Honor,
Hold on a second.
back up.
To
Just want to turn it down the speed just for this one part. I want to hear her and feel her. It's still not all the way because she's slow, but
Right.
How did you come to be there for that proffer?
because I got subpoenaed to be questioned about Harmony, and I lied to the grand jury because I was scared.
So let me back up. Had you been charged with a crime prior to meeting for that proffer?
Yes.
And Your Honor, may I?
I know, right? My God. Come on now.
I know. Let's go. Let's go. This is what we want to hear about, but we can't really hear about because it's a different
Yeah.
trial.
Kayla, prior to meeting for that proffer, you said, I think you've been charged with a crime.
Yes.
Do you remember what you had been charged with?
Welfare fraud
Anything else?
and 2 counts of receiving stolen property.
And do you remember being charged with perjury as well?
Yes.
Okay. Did you receive a letter from the Department of Justice prior to going to that proffer meeting?
I don't remember.
Do you think it would help refresh your recollection if you saw the letter?
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Now we're going to have to take 10 minutes for her slow ass to read this letter.
I remember this.
And so you remember receiving a letter from the New Hampshire Department of Justice prior
Yes.
to that meeting?
Yes.
What is your understanding of what your obligation was going into that meeting?
To tell the truth?
And is that what you did in that proffer?
Yes.
Is that what you're doing here today?
Yes.
And so the activity that formed the basis for those charges you just mentioned, specifically receiving stolen property and perjury. I think you've explained the perjury, the receiving stolen property though. What was the basis of that charge?
The receiving stolen property was for the guns.
So the guns in this case,
Yes.
they were in your home?
Yes.
You knew they were stolen?
Yes.
And you knew that your husband was a felon?
Yes.
After you were charged with those crimes, did you reach a plea agreement with the Department of Justice?
Yes.
What did you plead guilty to?
2 counts of perjury.
And was that to resolve all of your charges?
Yes.
So including the welfare fraud and the receiving stolen property?
Yes.
Wow. There we go. You were right. Hold on. Let me see.
I was right.
Pretty much because you said that she was, they came at her about lying.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she was scared about Harmony. Then they came to her in the proffer because she knew that she couldn't lie and her ass was about to get in some major trouble. She told what she knew.
Exactly. I must admit that ever since I went the whole month of May thinking that June 2nd was a Saturday, my confidence in my ability to remember things accurately has gone down a little bit. I'm a little shaken about that.
That really threw a wrench in our.
It sure did. It sure did. Not knowing how to calendar. Way to go, Jen Lou.
Alex, I don't think that we're going to be able to do it tonight. I'm like 1 day behind and I have to do everything. So
yeah. That was a mess.
Well, good. You got it all done. That's all that
I
matters.
did. And she had a great party and everybody had fun. And that's all that matters. It was totally worth the headache.
A memorandum agreement between the state of New Hampshire and myself.
And is that the memorandum agreement as you remember it regarding your sentence?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this point, I'd move to strike the ID and mark as full.
Any objection? Yes, Your Honor. Wait, Coach?
I don't know what her objection could be about that being admitted into evidence, unless, okay, wait, I lied. I do think I can see why she might want to be objecting it. It is her proffer, and so there would probably be bleed over, for lack of a better word. It's their words that they use, so, but for Harmony.
Right. I bet you that is what it is because this
And
is
maybe
where,
not wanting the jury to see that. I mean, anything that's admitted into evidence, the jury can look at.
Oh, that would make sense because it would put him in a pretty negative light, to see all the things that she said about him with Harmony.
Yes.
Still just a sitting there. I'm going to fast forward us through. We're almost at the end of this half. We got like 5 minutes. Oh my God.
The gods.
Really? I'm angry with myself over that damn preview.
Ooh, what does that say?
I don't know.
When was the House of Dragon returning. I need to know. No, just kidding. I can look it up on Google.
Yeah,
But that one commercial excited me. I'm not gonna lie.
I had already clicked it off by the time you asked me, so I couldn't tell you. I know it was like
Thank you.
HBO Max.
So, Kayla, with respect to the sentence on those 2 felonies that you mentioned, what sentence did you receive?
I received the 2 counts of perjury.
And what was the
Yeah.
sentence that was
What's a
imposed?
sentence, dum dum? How long
3.5
you
to
gonna be
7
locked
suspended,
up?
And a 3.5 to 7 with 1.5 suspended off my minimum.
And the 3.5 to 7 that you mentioned, is that the maximum prison sentence for each charge?
Yes.
And what portion of that prison sentence are you currently fulfilling right now?
So 3.5 to 7 with the 1.5 off my minimum.
And you mentioned you mentioned the suspended portion of the sentence.
Yes.
What if anything do you have to abide by for that to remain suspended?
I have to state as what the memorandum agreement is between myself and the state.
So is it suspended upon the conditions and continued parole?
Yes. But it's also suspended for, I have 10 years over my head.
And what is your obligation with respect to that agreement? What do you have to do?
I have to abide by the state
And with respect to this trial, what is your obligation under that agreement?
to tell the truth.
Oh my God, she's already
What
messing
happens if
up.
you violate those conditions?
I can get all the charges that I have that got dismissed, and ones that I don't have, they can charge me with anything and take back everything that we agreed on.
So, Kayla, I want to briefly talk about a few of the things that we've mentioned here today, we've discussed today. You testified earlier that the defendant had this transaction with Manny, Ish, and Mike.
Yes.
And you also testified about a transaction and maybe the defendant leaving the house to shoot the gun with Kevin,
Yes.
and that you can see the gun after that.
No. Not that I remember.
And you testified that you observed the defendant attempting to sell the stolen guns, for drugs and or money.
Yes.
Who was the individual that was doing all of those things you just described?
Adam Montgomery.
And do you see Adam Montgomery here in the courtroom?
Yes.
Can you go ahead and point to him and describe the color of his shirt?
He's wearing a pink shirt.
Do you have any reason to protect him here today?
I'm sorry.
Do you have any reason to protect him here today?
No.
And Your Honor, if the record could reflect the witness identified the defendant.
Record so reflects.
If I can have just a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm guessing that part
Just a moment. We're gonna
2
Take a break now. This is a good time for our mid-morning break. So, ladies and gentlemen, about 15
is
minutes,
cross,
okay?
Allie.
All rise for the jurors, please.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's about an hour long too. Hold on, let me look. 'Cause I've
Okay.
got it.
We can do, I was going to say, we can do the cross tomorrow night on my channel if you guys want, if you're okay with that.
I would love to do that. I was going to ask
Okay.
you when we were going back over there. So yeah, that'd be great. I'll send it to you. Let me go check though how long it is real fast before we.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't watched that at all. I watched
Neither
this
have I.
one. I think I missed like the last 10 minutes of it, but okay. The first one or part 2, I mean, is it's loading, and then I'll tell you. Oh God, of course there's an ad in the beginning. But yeah, that'd be great. We can do it over there.
All right, babe.
We also have like some body cams and stuff with this case. Okay, gosh, part 2 is an hour 22 minutes too. So it's a little bit longer than this one.
Well, that's pretty typical. Now, I'll say this. I understand why the state had to get her to talk about her deal and what she understands her deal to be and what the consequences are if she doesn't hold up her end of the deal, right? However, on the flip side of that, I would imagine that on cross-examination, because the defense has already done this with a couple of other witnesses. They've done it with a couple of the guys like Mike Sullivan, and I forget the other guy that testified, because they were part of this sale, and they saw the guns. Basically, what the defense is saying, and this is smart, that look, these people have serious, especially Kayla, has some serious consequences hanging over her head. And that's just with the weapons charges. Okay. Because if they find her to be lying and she doesn't hold up her end of the deal with this trial, there are she's not off the hook. So that's just with the weapons stuff. And she's not off the hook with the stuff that she's, that's hanging over her head with the welfare fraud and stuff. That's serious. That comes with some serious time. And so yeah, you know,
Also, if you get convicted of something like that, like you can't get help in the future, that's a huge,
and it's not, yeah, and it's not just like food stamps. Let's say that going forward, okay, Kayla serves her time, all right, she gets out, she's clean, she's sober, and she really wants to get her life on track, right? She wants to go back to school. Guess what she won't be eligible for? A Fannie Mae or yeah, Sally Mae. Yeah, I can't. It's Fannie Mae. Is it Fannie Mae? No, Fannie Mae does home. Sally Mae. Sally Mae is the government like student loan program. She won't be eligible for that, anything of that sort. So, I mean,
and like
you know.
unemployment, all kinds of stuff like that. Like your insurance. What are you gonna do?
She'll never be able to be on food stamps ever again with that if she had that charge.
Right. Ooh, look at this. CDC warns of deadly bacteria with 50% fatality rate that has been declared endemic to U.S. Gulf Coast. Ugh.
Oh, I live on the Gulf Coast. What they talking about?
Yeah, I'll click it after because I want to know too, because that water comes up to us.
I know.
Eventually, you know, all the water does. It freaks me out, that kind of stuff. I always get worried about, like, my dad, he will constantly tell me horror stories about, like, this kid got a brain-eating amoeba in this lake and, you know, things like that. It freaks me out.
When my dad was a paramedic, he told me, because my dad was a paramedic back in the 80s when a lot of teenagers are doing PCP. And he said that he went on a couple of calls and one kid had pulled the toilet. Toilets are bolted, you know, to the subfloor. And he had pulled it out from the subfloor. And then another kid on PCP climbed a palm tree. And if you've ever seen a palm tree, the ones that are not shaved at the bottom, so they're not, and even those ones aren't that smooth, but they have these, like, it looks like a palm tree trunk looks like a pine cone, kind of, you know, with those little things that stick out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it cuts your feet up. It's bad news bears. But yeah, he used to tell me those kind of stories too. My shit was, yeah, I was scared of PCP.
I've never done it or seen anybody that's done it. So yeah. Ugh.
It's horse tranquilizer. It's not even for people.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
So, were like kids when you were growing up in your area?
No,
or?
Well, not when I was, I mean, when my dad was a paramedic in the 80s, I would have been like in elementary school. So no.
Okay. Okay.
But he just would, you know, tell me crazy stories about kids on drugs.
Yeah.
Obviously to scare me. Hello. So that when I did get older and might be around that temptation, I would just say no.
Right.
I used to joke with my dad and say he should have contacted Nancy Reagan. They should have just put him on TV for the Just Say No campaign and tell those horror stories, or just get him and a bunch of paramedics, the stuff they could tell.
The war on drugs, man. That's a crazy time period. Okay, you guys who wanted to see the fridge. This article came out June 14th. Her interview was June 3rd. So right after her interview, it says FBI agents looking for Harmony seized a large refrigerator on Tuesday as they carried out a massive search at the apartment where she once lived with her father and stepmother. At one point, investigators could be seen hauling a refrigerator from the building and wrapping it in black plastic. There they are in that. But like I said, I'm not sure that she made it out of the other house alive. I don't know for sure about that.
Right.
There, the refrigerator is the apartment complex. It says, this is rough. I know in my heart this is no longer a rescue mission. They're looking for a body, Harmony's mother told Boston 25. It wasn't clear when Adam and Kayla lived at the home with Harmony. There's police there. And they're not releasing any details. There's Kayla. Wow, she looks so different there. Look at her.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. The girl's father had been in jail since January on various charges, including one that he allegedly struck Harmony in the face in 2019. His wife is out on bail because of the theft by deception. Let me see. Let me read. Just get to the part where it's about what she said. Oh, I thought it was in that one, but let me see. It might be in this one I grabbed. Yeah, so Kayla reported to police that Harmony had been murdered in December 2019 by Adam. Kayla also said the defendant had encouraged her on multiple occasions to lie to police about her whereabouts, giving her a cover story and telling her that as long as she stuck to it, everything would be okay. The court documents were filed the same day prosecutors charged Adam with second-degree murder. And we do know that police said on or about December 7th, Montgomery repeatedly struck Harmony in the head with a closed fist. Then the weapons charges, and then we have little Harmony there. So, yeah.
That's sweet, baby.
I know. Oh, this part, it says, police spoke to Adam Montgomery's brother, Michael, who explained that Adam abused Harmony and gave her a black eye. They then reached out to Montgomery's cousin, Kevin. I'm pretty sure it's actually his uncle, Kevin. I think the article's incorrect, but I might be wrong. But it says, Kevin said that Adam told him, quote, I bashed her around this house, unquote.
Ugh.
Yeah. And that one was because I remember it's not in here, but because she was watching her infant brother and he was crying and she couldn't get him to stop.
Right.
It said one of the last sightings of her was October 2019 in the Guilford Street home, and a family spat broke out. Kevin said Adam then left with Harmony and broke off contact with several family members. Kevin said Harmony looked like a scared puppy the last time he saw her, and she definitely walked around with a black eye. So, yeah. I can hear him say that too. Yeah, I'm so glad we're going to do it on your channel tomorrow. And
yes.
we don't have to wait too long. We do have body cams and stuff. I went over those like a year ago, but we could do it again. I mean, there's a ton of new people, you know?
Yeah. And because I want, because that trial is coming up, obviously. Boone is coming up in July. I've changed my mind. I do not think that Boone is going to plead out. I think that she has dug her heels in. She definitely wants an opportunity to get up on that stand and tell her story. So I would expect that Boone will be taking the stand in her own defense, which, I mean, it's not that surprising. Even if Boone wasn't Boone, most of the time, the battered spouse defense is similar to almost a self-defense. And so it's very difficult in a self-defense case for the jury to understand what was going on and the need for you to defend yourself. And so most of the time a defendant would take the stand. So I'm not super surprised about that. What else is coming up soon? Another Scott Peterson. This Scott Peterson is out of Florida. He was the school resource officer at Parkland High School when the Parkland shooting happened, and he did not go in. He waited outside, and his trial started today, and he is up on charges related to that. And the thing is in Florida, a school resource officer is a cop, an actual cop. Not like a security guard. No, they're cops from, let me think, Parkland County. Isn't Parkland County or Parkland High School? What isn't that in, I think, Broward County? So they would be either with the local, because Florida has like local police, but some places don't have local police. They just have a sheriff's department. Some places in Florida have both. And so, yeah, but either way, he's on trial. His trial started today as far as opening statements.
Yeah, I saw that on Crime Online where somebody's streaming it. There was a 3, I think, being streamed because what was the other one?
The ex-football player who was, so he was acquitted today. The verdict came in and he was acquitted. And I didn't follow that case or that trial, but I was curious because Law and Crime made a post. And so I was like, okay, let me go read these comments. And there was a bunch of them, obviously. And I would have to I think every single comment I read was in support of him being acquitted.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else.
there's that.
It's
Or I've
coming
been
up.
covering. I was going to tell you about. There's a potential serial killer out in Oregon. So there are 6 women that have been found so far, but there's several more missing in the Portland area. And these women, a lot of them have history of addiction or homelessness, things like that.
The
And it
vulnerable population. God, these
Yep.
serial killers.
Yep. And it seems like there's somebody targeting them. And last night I saw another post of a woman with the same issues who hadn't been seen. And so, I need to catch up and see if there's anything else from that. Actually, Amber started a Facebook group.
Oh, did she?
With about it. So you should join. I got it on the
On your community page? Okay. What if ATS News Amber is like, Jen Lou who? We're keeping riffraff out. No, just kidding.
No, but it was Amber. It's Amber Love Reigns anyway. But
Oh.
after your I gotta wear my banner, ATS News was right.
Oh gosh.
Hey Jane Doe. Well, I'm so glad that you came to do this with me today.
Me
I'm so happy that you're
too.
back.
Me
I
too.
can't
I'm
wait
glad I missed you guys. I missed you.
till tomorrow to hear your awesome intro and jam out over there and watch more of this. I'm gonna try to force myself not to watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it. When it comes to stuff like this, if I'm not streaming the trial, I like to not watch. Like I need to know enough about the case, obviously, but I don't like to watch key witness testimony and cross because I like to react, in the moment. So yeah.
Ooh, Amber's gonna be on Melissa's in about an hour to talk about it. That's awesome, Amber.
Ooh, okay.
All right, well, let me drop her link. And if you guys haven't subscribed to Jen, I've been dropping her link. I'm going to drop it again right after Melissa's. You definitely go subscribe. You don't want to miss it. And then, all right, I guess I'll let you go because my computer's about to shut off and die. But I'm so glad that you're back. And I'll see all of you guys really soon. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Have a good day.
1, 2, 3. Bye.